Hey everyone, I'm going to tell you something which probably will contradict things that you were taught in your economics class. But one of the most important keys in a capitalistic free market system isn't just general spending and money being circulated around. It's actually savings. It's actually important to have savings in your culture. Right now, the year's 2013 going on 2014. And look at some nations that are successful or at least doing okay. Nations that come to mind, things like Germany and China. Why are they so successful? And one of the reasons is due to the fact that it's intrinsic in their culture to put money aside in savings. It's common for people to put aside 30%, many times 50% of their income in savings rather than spending it. You see, when you live in a society where it's a cultural norm, a moral obligation to put money into savings, you have an internal price control. You see, people aren't always out trying to maximize profit and basically screw the consumer. They're worried about things like efficiency, being able to do things properly, and making it affordable for people to be able to buy it and still put money aside. When you live in a society where it's constantly spend, and it becomes basically the norm and accepted to live paycheck to paycheck, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Eventually, everything gets priced out of grasp, and people now have to decide either having food in their fridge or heat in their homes. And, of course, people then go on to credit cards and loan debt, which is another problem. You see, in a society where it's constantly spend money, even money that you don't have, banks need to get the money because obviously the people aren't creating the money out of their wages. So people go to banks, and the banks go to the central bank, and the central bank starts printing more money. Inflation. They print money out of thin air, give it to the banks many times at 0% interest rates, and then the banks have to compete with one another. You see, it's in banks' interest to always try to get more money than the other guy. And if the money's so easy to get, and they could just grab it from a central bank, they have to then find more risky investments, financial derivatives, all these other things which got us into these messes in order to make more money than the next guy. That's a problem. You see, with the financial system in play right now, every time you print more money, every time you create inflation, those who do save are penalized. Every dollar they have now becomes more worth less, and things that at one point were very affordable due to inflation become more expensive for everyone. It's like a tax. So we live in a society where it's constantly save. You actually have some benefits. Nations where it's considered a norm to save money, many times you'll find that communities and many times the governments themselves have enough money in reserve so when an emergency arises, things can be easily corrected. Things can be repaired and fixed, rather than in other nations where you have a crumbling infrastructure and also an ever-increasing number of debt. You see, nations like the United States, we are actually constantly trying to make more money out of money rather than actually building up our society. In nations where it's accepted to save, people create wealth by creating products. People create machines, things that help society and have a real intrinsic value, rather than just trying to create money out of other financial equations. So society grows rather than decays. So savings is a very important key in a successful society.